My name is Justin, and this is Plane Crashed. Tonight, I want you to imagine the scene. An island airport, quiet and modest, not built for the chaos that was about to unfold. The air is thick with fog, the kind that swallows runways whole and leaves pilots blind. Engines roar, radios crackle with static and overlapping voices, and hidden within the mist, two of the largest passenger jets on Earth are unknowingly set on a deadly path toward one another. It is March 27th, 1977, at Los Rodeos Airport on Tenerife in the Canary Islands. By the end of that day, 583 souls will be gone, and aviation will never be the same again. The tragedy began with something almost ordinary, an inconvenience. A terrorist. Bombing at Gran Canaria Airport forced multiple flights to divert to Tenerife. Among those flights were two Boeing 747s, the most advanced and powerful aircraft of the era. The first was KLM Flight 4805, a charter from Amsterdam, carrying Dutch holidaymakers eager to start their vacations. The second was Pan Am Flight 1736, en route from Los Angeles and New York, carrying American tourists, couples, and families. Headed to the sun-soaked islands, neither crew could know that fate had chosen them for a collision course. Los Rodeos Airport was never meant for this. It had just one runway and limited taxi space. By the afternoon, it became overcrowded, with jets parked nose to tail, blocking each other in. Both the KLM and Pan Am aircraft had to wait for hours before they could even think about departure. Tempers grew short and pressure mounted. For the KLM crew, led by Captain Jacob Van Zanten, a man so respected he was the face of KLM in advertisements, the delay was frustrating. His passengers wanted to arrive at Gran Canaria, and his duty hours were ticking away. For the Pan Am crew, led by Captain Victor Grubbs and First Officer Robert Bragg, the waiting was equally exhausting. The fog rolling in made things worse. Visibility was deteriorating by the minute, turning what should have been a clear departure into a dangerous gamble. By late afternoon, the fog had blanketed the airport. Controllers in the small tower could barely see the runway. Pilots had to rely on radio instructions and their own judgment. It was in this environment that the stage was set for confusion. The Pan Am jet was instructed to taxi down the runway, then exit at the third taxiway before turning off. At the same time, the KLM crew lined up for takeoff, waiting for their clearance. But radio communication, already strained, broke down at the worst possible moment. Controllers gave instructions, but their words overlapped with cockpit responses. Static accents and interruptions muddled the meaning. Pan Am thought they had been told to continue taxiing. KLM believed they had been cleared for takeoff. In reality, neither instruction was clear, and the fog made it impossible to see. Then came the moment of no return. Captain Van Zanten pushed the throttles forward. His 747, weighing over 300 tons, began accelerating down the runway. Inside the Pan Am jet, the crew spotted lights through the fog, a shape moving toward them. "Get off! Get off! Get off!" Captain Grubbs shouted, wrenching the yoke to try to steer his giant off the tarmac. First Officer Bragg slammed the throttles forward in a desperate bid for speed. The KLM crew, realizing too late that something was in their path, pulled back on the controls, trying to lift their jet into the air. It almost worked. The nose of the KLM aircraft cleared the Pan Am, but the undercarriage and engines did not. The Dutch jet's belly slammed into the American aircraft, shearing its fuselage apart in an instant. Flames exploded into the fog. The runway became a firestorm of twisted metal, burning fuel, and human tragedy. Passengers in the Pan Am cabin screamed as fire swept through. Many never had a chance to escape. On the KLM jet, all 248 aboard were killed instantly. On Pan Am, 335 more perished. Only 61 people survived, crawling out of wreckage through fire and smoke. The aftermath left the world in shock. It was and remains the deadliest accident in aviation history. Families waited for news that would never come. Airlines grieved. The public questioned how two of the most advanced jets in the world, flown by some of the most experienced pilots, could meet such a fate on the ground. Investigations revealed the brutal truth. It was not one mistake but many, a chain of human errors bound together by fog, fatigue, pressure, and miscommunication. Captain Van Zanten, under immense stress, had misinterpreted instructions. The Pan Am crew, confused by overlapping transmissions, did not vacate the runway in time. And the tower, barely able to see the runway, could not intervene before disaster struck. Yet from tragedy came change. Aviation authorities realized that communication needed to be sharper, universal, and unmistakable. This disaster birthed what we now call standardized aviation English, clear, precise phrases that leave no room for doubt. It also gave rise to crew resource management, teaching pilots and crews that hierarchy must never silence safety. A captain, no matter how senior, could be challenged if the situation demanded it. These lessons spread across the globe, reshaping aviation forever. Today, flying is safer than at any time in history, and the Tenerife disaster is part of the reason why. Every checklist reviewed, every radio call clarified, every co-pilot's voice heard. Those are echoes of March 27th, 1977. The 583 lives lost were not in vain. Their legacy lives in every safe takeoff, every safe landing. This was the story of the Tenerife Airport Disaster, a tragedy of fog, fear, and fatal miscommunication. My name is Justin, and this is Plane Crashed. Until next time, remember, every flight we take today carries the lessons written in the fire and loss of yesterday. And sometimes it is in the darkest skies that the brightest reforms are born.